Oh boy, have I got a great one for you today. From the house of Atelier des Ors, this is Rouge Saray, this one right here. Really beautiful bottle. As you can see, I love these bottles with the gold flakes floating around. Very hypnotizing. Well, this has become my favorite fragrance from this house because you know me, I love gourmands and sweet fragrances, and this one is really satisfactory in that style. If you want to find out all about Rouge Saray and also have a chance at winning a full bottle, yes, a whole bottle of Rouge Saray, if you are a subscriber of this channel from the USA or the EU, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today I'm talking about one of my favorite niche houses called Atelier des Ors and one of their latest releases called Rouge Saray in this bottle here. This is a gourmand fragrance and I'm going to let you know all about it. But before we do that, if this is your first time tuning into the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So when I first smelled this one, I was like, wow, this is so good. This is sweet. Reminds me of something. But you know what? Really, there's nothing there that it really reminds me of like an actual fragrance. It just hints at so many different styles, and one house comes to mind. A very old perfume house comes to mind when I smell this fragrance, and I'm going to tell you all about it in this review. But let's give you some details for this fragrance because this was launched earlier this year. It was supposed to make its debut at Exxon's earlier this year, but you know what happened with the pandemic and stuff. And I've had it for a good couple of months, and I've been waiting for the right time to do it. And now that we're kind of almost in the middle of summer, and as I feel like this is a great fragrance for fall and winter, I think you guys really need to get your hands on it because I'm really enjoying the way this one smells, and it's heavenly. It's just heavenly, and it's very cozy. So this is Atelier des Ors Rouge Saray. It's an Oriental fragrance, gourmand, fruity gourmand, all of those things come to mind. Once again, the perfumer is Salamagne, and it's a 2020 launch. It's EDP concentration, of course. And what do we have for notes in this one? We've got cinnamon, jasmine, and plum in the top notes. In the heart, you've got dates, heliotrope, and patchouli. In the base notes, you've got Guaiac wood, sandalwood, vanilla, and Peru balsam. So whenever I see Peru or Tolu balsam in fragrances, I'm instantly like, happy. This is one of my favorite notes, or these are one of my favorite notes, and they really satisfy me. I have a whole video on balsams and resins on the channel with Dana. If you're curious, tune into that and watch and find out what Peru balsam is, because when fragrances go balsamic, I'm in love with them. Always in love. This one doesn't disappoint, but this does go in a different direction. And I'm going to tell you that brand that it kind of reminds me of a little later on. But what happens with this one, as soon as you spray it, it's a fruity start. It's plummy, and it's also cinnamony. Cinnamon, fruits of plum, and of course some floral touches of jasmine is what hits your face. And at this time, it's when I start thinking, this reminds me of something. Not an actual fragrance, reminds me of a style. It reminds me of a certain kind of a, you know, style of perfumery that I've come to love. And it just kind of like goes into a really positive direction from there, because in the heart you've got dates here. See, we've got fruity touches here with the plum at the top and more fruity touches with the dates in the heart. And then here you also experience some patchouli, and patchouli is a love for me obviously, but it's very unique here with the dates and the heliotrope. Heliotrope is powdery, slightly almondy smelling note. It's a flower, and with the dates and the patchouli together, you're actually in heaven. I'm in heaven because that's how I experience this fragrance, the way it smells. As the fragrance is settling down, it's becoming balsamic. This is where the Peru balsam comes. That's a sweet note, and then also vanilla is sweet, and this is like a really creamy section of the fragrance. Guaiac wood is a creamy wood. Sandalwood is a creamy wood. So basically it's smooth. It's very smooth in the base, and all together everything just works magically because I keep wearing it and I keep wanting to spray more and more because it's delicious. It's a really smooth, cozy, fruity gourmand experience. Oriental experience, and the kind of fragrances I like. I love Oriental fragrances, and this is definitely a top-notch Oriental gourmand fruity release. As I was saying, this has become my favorite fragrance from this house because I just love the way it smells. And it's the kind of smell that I really love. Louis Feline used to be my favorite. There are a few others. I love the house, as I have mentioned in the past, and I've reviewed plenty of fragrances from this house. But this really, really has become my number one because it just makes me feel good, you know? It makes me feel satisfied. Almost like I finish a big cup of some kind of a sweet dessert. And that's this feeling I get with this one. Now, the house I was talking about is the house of Guerlain. For me, this fragrance reminds me of fragrances from this house. It almost seems like, as I was saying at the beginning, you know, when I smell it, it reminds me of something. It's not necessarily reminding me of a specific fragrance. It reminds me of a style of fragrance. It reminds me of Guerlain. Like this fragrance, Rouge Saray, I would see in one of their fragrances from the Art et la Métier collection, like which includes Spiritus, Double Vanille, Tonka Imperial, Angelique Noir, Cœur Beluga, all these fragrances. I can see this actually matched with any of those fragrances there because it's in that kind of style. It's a gourmand, it's an oriental, but this one goes into the fruity direction. It is so delicious, guys. And then on top of that, the dates and the plums. I feel like the dates and the plums are really, really like the prominent players here. It's definitely very plummy experience, and in my collection I don't have a lot of plummy fragrances, so this one is a breath of fresh air for me to kind of like start digging into this note a little more, because when I see this note come up, which I should say I don't see it come up often, but when I do and I smell the fragrances that feature plum, I really immediately love it because I love consuming plums. They're really good for you, they're healthy, and they're also very kind of sweet, slight tart, and I like that combination. Here it's more on the sweet side, and it's very, very satisfying. One last thing I want to say about Rouge Saray. I have eaten plenty of fruit compote in my lifetime, and this kind of acts like that when I'm wearing it. So just imagine either cooked or dried fruits in a bowl, but you know, kind of soggy, like they're kind of like been drained in some kind of a liquid, and then imagine pouring like a honeyed vanillic kind of a syrup on top. That's the experience you get with this one, and it's really, really cozy and satisfying. Absolutely delicious, guys. This is so, so good. If you like gourmands, if you like oriental fragrances, if you like fruity fragrances, this is definitely a must-try fragrance. It is so good. And as I said, come fall and winter, this one's going to be perfect on you. It's going to smell so good. I can't get enough of it. As you can see, I've worn this much already, and I just love smelling it on me, and I spray it on, and then I want to come back and spray more because it smells phenomenal. For me, it's a great fragrance, and I hope you guys get to try it. And as mentioned, I do have a full bottle giveaway thanks to the folks behind Atelier des Ors. One full bottle to a subscriber of this channel from either the USA or the EU. Let's see. What is your favorite fragrance that features plum? Please put that down. Also, let me know why Rouge Saray sounds great to you. Why? What makes it sound great from watching this review? Last but not least, please put down your country, of course if it's USA or EU, to qualify. And then of course, please make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching this review for Rouge Saray today. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have you tried it? Are you curious to try it? Does it sound interesting to you? Because sometimes you might not like gourmands or orientals or vanillic fruity fragrances, because this fragrance is definitely that. I'd like to find out if you dig this style or not. Please put a comment down so I can find out. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please put it down. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. One more thing I wanted to say about this fragrance. Even though they don't smell alike, Atelier des Ors has another fragrance called L'Armée du Desert, which I've reviewed on the channel. Now this one seems like it's an incense resinous kind of a fragrance with sweet touches, and I feel like these are opposites of one another. For some reason, the experience with this one is a reddish gold, And then the experience with L'Armée du Desert is a very orangey gold. I don't know, it's the colors I see when I wear them, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm basically seeing the color of the bottle and the juice, but it's the color I get when I wear it. Whereas L'Armée du Desert is all orangey gold. Here it's golden, but it's a reddish kind of a gold, maybe slight purplish as well. Anyway, those are some thoughts I've had about these two fragrances, and I feel like they're complete opposites, even though they're kind of in that same style, Oriental, whereas L'Armée du Desert goes into a resinous direction, incensey direction. Here we go into a gourmand direction. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but those are my thoughts on this fragrance in connection to another fragrance from Atelier des Ors called L'Armée du Desert.